like I said, this album projects a very like space agey kind of vibe to me. So at number 5, Somewhere in Time. Coming in at number 4, this is one of the first albums I got into, and to this day I love the album artwork. It's so stimulating to look at. We're talking about Iron Maiden Killers. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Paul Di'Anno as a singer. He definitely did this album justice. And with most Maiden albums, there really are no bad songs on this album. You have the classics in Killers and Wrathchild, and then you have Murders in the Rue Morgue, which is definitely one of my favorites. Again, this was one of the first albums I ever heard from Maiden, and it was very different and original and innovative for me as a listener, being one of the first albums I ever heard. Yeah, like I said, not a bad song. Drifter's really good. I think Adrian Smith had a lot to do with that one. Adrian Smith is one hell of a prolific writer. Not a bad thing to say about this album. Even the Ides of March is great. It's just a little thematic opener. So number 4, Killers. All right. Let's step things up here. We are down to the top 3 Iron Maiden albums. And I'm sure half of you have clicked off or thrown your device across the room at this point, because I'm probably not sticking with the tried and the true here. But at number 3, we're going with Brave New World. Now, Brave New World was Bruce Dickinson's reunion with Iron Maiden in the year 2000 or so. And this album, in terms of being just completely taken away by the sound and the production and the writing, I had this on repeat in the CD player for years, right? You've got The Wicker Man, the opening track. Maiden's known for like really high intensity opening tracks. Ghost of the Navigator is definitely one of my favorite Maiden tracks of all time. I just love the melody, and having 3 guitars kind of seems redundant, but for Maiden it works. Brave New World, the title track, has a lot of power to it. Blood Brothers with their incredibly exaltive chorus. Dream of Mirrors is kind of dark, coming in at 9 minutes. That's a long one. The Nomad's pretty cool too. Very long album, right? The shortest song is 4 minutes, and you have 3 of them over 7, and then quite a few in 6. This album is just great across the board. Bruce comes back. He's singing better than ever. He just came off his solo albums, Accident of Birth and Chemical Wedding. And so his voice the quality of his voice changed during that period, and it kind of carried over from his solo stuff to this. And it fits so well with the material. So at number 3, Brave New World. Coming in at number 2, we have Powerslave. All right, now I am and have always been interested in anything and everything Egyptian. I find the culture and the mythology fascinating, as well as the architecture. So the album cover alone gets probably best Maiden album cover of all time. The intricacies are amazing. When they went on tour, on the Powerslave tour, they used all that stuff on stage. The stage set was phenomenal. This album has 2 songs that were considered to be they were their hits, right? Aces High and 2 Minutes to Midnight, both of which, when I first stumbled upon Maiden, I really liked. But 26 years later, having listened to these guys for many decades, they just don't hold up quite as well. The songs that I really like on this album would be like Flash of the Blade, Back in the Village, obviously Powerslave, the title track, and probably the greatest Iron Maiden epic of all time, Rime of the Ancient Mariner, which has so many different sections and vibes to it. The song is just multifaceted on so many levels. I especially like the augmented triad that Steve Harris plays on bass during the breakdown. This album is absolute gold from start to finish. Even Lost for Words, which I love the name. It's an instrumental. They had a Lost for Words, so they called it Lost for Words. I always wondered who Lost for was, but one day I realized Lost for doesn't exist. So at number 2, you've got Powerslave. All right, and the moment you've all been waiting for. My favorite Iron Maiden album of all time. We are looking at none other than Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. This was my first introduction to Iron Maiden, and I was so inspired and just obsessed with this album. The sound of it, having never listened to Maiden before, the lyrical content was mystical and mysterious, and the bass was up front and melodic and clanky, and the guitars were heavy but also melodic, and we were creating memorable melodies and memorable lyrics too. There's some lyrics on this album that hold incredible meaning and value, even to people, to anybody, you know. As soon as you're born, you're dying. Like, I mean, that is one of the coolest philosophical things you could ever say. No bad songs on this album. Moonchild stuck out as a really good one that I always liked. Title track, Seventh Son of Seventh Son, is the epic at almost 10 minutes long. The Evil That Men Do and the Clairvoyant, Can I Play With Madness, that was kind of cool. A lot of cowbell on the drums in that one. On the Can I Play With Madness. The Prophecy was always really cool too. Just a very well-written, thematic album. I just love it. I don't know what to say. I you know, if you guys made it to the end of this, thank you for watching. And I will be doing more of these in the future. If you'd like me to rank a specific band, provided I actually listened to the band and could give you a heartfelt ranking, leave it in the comments below, and I will see what I can do. Thank you all for watching.